Okay, guys, so I know I've been dead for a while, but with COVID-19 happening and currently no new sets revealed, except for this one, I'm going to kind of talk about. It's a bit mysterious because we don't have full set info on it yet. But with Glory Valiant basically being fully revealed and it coming out in Japan already, we have news for a Rebi, or I'm going to call it Rebi, which stands for Revival Buddy set that is coming, and we got some reveals for it. I don't know if it was from Korokoro, but we might get more this weekend, so that's why we're putting these videos out right now. Anyways, what this video is about is I'm going to give you a list of 10 monsters or items or impacts, whatever you want to call them. Basically, just has to be a buddies or a popular monster that could be remade as a Rebi. And I'm going to be kind of biased because obviously I have my favorite monsters and you're going to have your favorite monsters or characters, or maybe you just hate all of them, or maybe they're ones you just hate. But anyways, if you look up the hashtag on the video, which I'm going to put just everywhere in the comments description on the video itself, of course, if you click that and look it up, you should see other videos that have it as well. And basically we're just going to do like a thing in the community where we have a list of 10 monsters or items or whatever that we predict are going to get Rebi versions, which are upgraded versions, especially in this time where the meta is kind of a mess right now, or there's a lot of just like crazy powerful effects out there. But anyways, let's just get straight into the list. So first here, I have on my list, and by the way, this is not in any order, and it's kind of like a competition to see who can get the most right, in case I didn't say that earlier. But it's just kind of like a fun thing to do in the community. Anyways, in no particular order, starting with number 1, Duel Jaeger. Duel Jaeger, I feel like Dragon Chief's Emperor, all the way from Triple D, they just really have not been getting love, and they don't really have an updated like form or effect of anti-removal. They don't really have anti-soul removal, I believe, and they do have the impact, and Revolted was also a big thing, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like a Rebi of Revolted instead of the original Duel Jaeger. But I think it'd be really cool because Dragon Chief Emperor just haven't really gotten anything for support wise. And even with these new legacy sets, the Triple D decks are kind of just laid off, especially the ones that aren't good as well, which more of them I'll talk about later. But I think Dragon Chief Emperor deserves it. And Wild Dragons already got support in the Ultimate set or whatever it was called. Bird Nova and Gang the King already got Rebi versions. So I don't see why Duel Jaeger can't get one as well. So another one I have on my list, so number 2, again in no order, Levantine, however you say that. The Hero Chaos, the all-item deck. I feel like the deck is very popular, and even though it does have, I forgot the name of the item was, the anti, if your weapon would leave the field, you can put it into the drop zone. It does have protection, but I feel like it could get a better form, or it could get a new form that instead of just covering just destruction, covers like destruction bounce and ability null, which would be really nice, or has a slightly better overkill, even though it already has good overkills. But I think Levantine as a really popular deck during Chaos or during the X era is really good. Or if not, then something for Durandal, because heroes in Legend just kind of haven't gotten anything really. And as like one of the most unique decks in the game, being all items, I think Levantine really deserves something. And I think it would bring some people back to the game, especially those who have those fully built decks, or those who have it just lying around, or like, okay, I want to do something with this, or I want to sell it. So yeah, I think it'd be really cool for Levantine to get something. It needs to just stop using the word cool. Anyways, number 3, or the third one, Lethal Formation. Lethal Formation to me is one of my favorite cards in Buddyfight, probably because of the anime, but I think it's one of the most unique cards, having an impact that was set, or at least before we got more of those type of cards. And we've never really gotten a new Secret Sword since like Thunder Empire, since that set. Because Thunder Empire had that thing where it gave support to different archetypes. But Lethal Formation hasn't really gotten anything updated. Doesn't have anything besides like the size 2 and size 1 monster that can search it and shove cards from drop or hand into soul to stack effects. Also, Star Crusher could also be a thing. And if not, then Byakuya could get a Rebi version. But I'm still going to stick with Lethal Formation because I really wish it would get a new version. It also did have Super Lethal Formation, but that card is kind of outdated now and only gives plus 1k to stats, which really is not updated. And also, Grace of the Sun Deity does exist, but it doesn't always have constant protection, and if your opponent knows timings, or if you mess up, you're kind of screwed. But again, there is support for the new Byakuya, which gives anti-pop and anti-destruction, anti-null, so that's still really nice. But I think Lethal Formation getting a Rebi form would be really nice, at least for ninjas, and make the deck a lot more fun. Okay, number 5, Hellsky Dragon. For those who don't know who Hellsky Dragon is, kind of guessing off the flavor text, is basically like Tanuki's form. And I think you should get a Rebi version because Guardians and Executioners are kind of like, I don't want to say they're a dead deck, but they're kind of outdated right now. they don't have the greatest protection. They did get the new set spells and some really nice cards here and there, but their deck isn't exactly, like, it's not really high up there, and I don't think it's really a deck that's really well known or used a lot. So I think having Hell Sky Dragon Rebi would be really good. And I remember, like, when it first came out or was like revealed, that it was a pretty great card because you can combo it with a set spell and have a lot of, I don't want to say loops, but, you know, combos where you get a lot of life or destruction. And that's kind of outdated now because, you know, everything has anti-destruction, anti-return. But I think it could be a really nice tool for Guardians Executioners on top of, like, the new set spells they got several sets ago. And yeah, it's a Triple D deck that was pretty popular at the time and is kind of just fallen off. Okay, next up on the list, Cerberus. Cerberus, for Tyrants, you know, Ryuka's buddy. He also did actually appear in one of the short stories, Krager's short story. Anyways, Cerberus did get a new form. I don't remember what set it was, but he got the form where he could search for an item on call from deck and also had effect in soul. But I think that was like the main thing with Tyrants, or, you know, like the Armor Knight combo, is having a really good, like they have a good searcher, but when it comes to consistently, like, trying to get off the kills, it's really hard to do that. I don't remember if their item has anti-rest, but I think it'd be really cool for, I keep using the word cool, I think it'd be really neat if Armor Knights, or specifically Tyrants, because that's what the new Cerberus is, could get something new, especially because Cerberus is like one of the original buddies in like the first season of the show, and Danger World is kind of dead right now, to be honest. Like, Dual Golem's dead. Everything with good defense shuts it down. And, you know, Buddy Block exists. Vegetables are kind of like the meme deck. You can try and spam resource with them in Lost World and try shenanigans, but they're not really a thing. And Tyrants, you can try an OTK, but it's, you know, you go up against Times, other decks. It's pretty hard. So I think they could use something new, and that would really help out the deck. So next up I have up on my list, is Ozzy Dehaka. Now, Ozzy Dehaka did get a new form in, I can't remember the name of the set, my bad. But Ozzy Dehaka, I think it was Ozzy Dehaka If or something like that. It was the support for the new Gaian Transform, or the new version of that we got in the set. So Ozzy Dehaka, I think, should get a new form because, number one, he's the original buddy of the villain, not the original buddy. I think there should also be more Ein support because they did get that Darkness Dragon World spell that could call Ozzy Dehaka without cost and give protection. So I think comboing that with a new Ozzy Dehaka Rebi would be really nice. And of course, just hitting everything on board and your opponent at the same time is still actually a pretty strong effect now because we still don't have too many directors, so it'd still be really nice to get. And yeah, Ozzy Dehaka getting support for items. That's what I'm saying specifically for Ein, instead of the dual combo. I know Ozzy Dehaka does have several forms, but, you know, if you're talking about like the original well-known buddies, you can't really miss out on Ozzy Dehaka, like the original villain. And I was considering picking other villain monsters like Yamigeto, but Yamigeto honestly is decent stuff, or at least when it comes to getting out their monsters on the boards. Gear God is okay, but, you know, they're kind of screwed by loyalty and other things, so they're kind of not there. So I think Ozzy Dehaka has the best chance of getting it, honestly. Okay, so moving on to the next one on the list is Ibuki. So Ibuki also had this kind of like weird period where his size 3 version, the one that if it would be destroyed by attacks, just 1 gauge overkill, cannot be destroyed for the turn. I think that could be pretty nice. It was abused kind of in Electro Deities, but I think Ibuki kind of deserves it, as Oni Assassins are kind of just not really used as much. Really what happens with Dead Invitation and then effects that started coming that just stopped them from calling from decks, and then Loyalty, it's kind of hard for them to play the game, but they're still a really fun deck to play, and they've got some good combos, and I think some people still have some pieces lying around for them, so I think it'd still be viable, and it could also be used as like a tech if it got like a defensive overkill like the Ibuki I'm talking about. If you got it to be used in, like, let's say Electro Deities or Ninjas, or maybe even like Blade Beasts. But yeah, I think Oni Assassin should get something, even though Ibuki has so many forms. If not Ibuki, even though I'm not going to put this as like my legitimate guess, I'd probably say either Japanese Blade Beast or Ninja, which is what I already said earlier with Lethal Formation. Okay, next up on the list is kind of a weird one, Sieg Blade. Now, the reason I'm saying this for Masai Arms is, number one, Masai Arms kind of feels like the weaker kind of deck, because even though they did get that nice effect for that size 1 monster that can return to deck or whatever, and make one of your opponent's monster have dragons, so you could actually use your effects against a deck that doesn't have dragon in their attributes. The reason I'm saying this is because Japan got a promo, and I don't think we have it in English yet, for Omega Sieg Saber, and it's kind of weird that we don't have an Omega Sieg Blade, so I could see that being a thing, or like a Sieg Blade Rebi, or something with this with his buddy Sigurd, or Sigurd, I think is what it's called. Sorry if I'm getting that pronunciation wrong. But that's basically the point, to use it along, because it links his buddy with an item that you then have to use the combo to get into it. So the only problem I have with that is that they'd have to remake either just Sieg Blade, or they'd have to remake his buddy as well to give better. I think it's anti-rest they're lacking, or was it their set? Anyways, there's something they're lacking, but Sieg Blade would be nice to get. And out of all the ace or new ace decks, I think Messiah is the one that's really lacking behind. Legend Dragons have kind of fallen off, but they're still really strong because of Ra, and Demon Evil Demonic Dragons have still decent stuff, and Draw Metal's kind of okay with the new stuff they've gotten. Like they're a lot better off, but they're still not like up there, but still pretty nice to get. So I think Messiah Arms deserves it. And also what was it, Eden's deck, Messiah Arms? No, not Messiah Arms. Forgot what it was called. The Angels, they already have some new stuff and have gotten several new forms, so I don't think they really need a Rebi version. Okay, finally for the last two. Jeez, I feel like I've been talking way too much. Demios. Okay, Demios, pretty straightforward. I would say fan favorite deck. A lot of people like this deck. A lot of people use it in the past. I'm sure a lot of people have the pieces lying around somewhere, or maybe they've already sold it off, but Purgatory Knights are still a pretty nice deck. They did get the dual effect, so maybe it would be Demios Orcus, the new dual effect one, instead of the original one. But Purgatory Knights kind of deserve something, or at least something similar to like the Sun Brigade bots, where you can call during attack phase on both turns, so you could at least use your calls if you get loyaltied defensively, or something along that, because Purgatory Knights need something. They just need something. And while their item at least has a searcher, hopefully would work for this Demios, because obviously it would have Demios in his name. But Demios does have potential, but the problem is that they just don't have enough good offense, because they get shut down by the new stuff. But anyways, Demios would be really nice to get a Rebi version. And finally, probably the weirdest pick of all is Axia. The reason I'm picking Axia is because, number one, Osmodai already has a Rebi version. I don't think Plague needs a Rebi version. He already has several forms, like the one that can cast from Soul, his really good overkill that can search 3 different Plague spells. Also, I don't really see Mary Sue happening. If Axia Rebi doesn't happening, I would see him having more of a resource, like a generic kind of Magic World resource effect. But if not Axia Rebi, then I could see Mary Sue Rebi being a thing. I just think Axia is like one of the original buddies that people have just forgotten about, and he just isn't used. And also as a Draco Wizard, with effects of putting cards on field into the gauge, I think that could introduce, I don't want to say it'll bring something back overpowered, because Soul Guard and other stuff still stops effects of putting cards on field into gauge, but I think it'd be interesting to reintroduce that again, and maybe make Axia like actually good again and usable within Magic World, like just like a generic Magic World kind of support. So yeah, that's my list. I'll go over it again. Sieg Blade, Duel Jaeger, Levantine, whatever, Lethal Formation, Hellsky Dragon, Rebi. I don't even know why I'm reading the name. So Hellsky Dragon, Cerberus, Ozzy Dehaka, Ibuki, Demios, Axia. So to read it again: Sieg Blade, Duel Jaeger, Levantine, Lethal Formation, Hellsky Dragon, Cerberus, Ozzy Dehaka, Ibuki, Demios, and Axia. That is my list. I was going to consider doing some of the more recent decks, because I found it really weird that we got like Yuga and Vanity as new forms. So heck, I could be completely wrong, but I think that's part of the fun, that you can just guess these. So yeah, I think I explained way too much. The video is probably way longer than I would like it to be. Anyways, look up the hashtag, figure it out. Check out the other videos and tell me what you think of the prediction. Put down your own, or make your own video and put in the hashtag. It's up to you. You don't have to talk in it and explain everything like I did. But yeah, I think this is a really fun thing, so I encourage people to do it. If you don't want to, you can just, I don't know, post it around Discord or somewhere else. You don't have to make a video, but I think it'd be really cool just to see a lot of people who are making predictions about Rebi, even though the set hasn't even come out, for the Revival Buddies to come. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Stay safe and keep on buddy fighting.